As Ernst Wilhelm noted, both human design and traditional astrology are forms of Jyotiṣ, the science of the lights in the sky. Whether that light refers to the flow of neutrinos, as human design suggests, or the cosmic influence of the grahas in astrology, both systems seem to be pointing towards the same essential truth, that we are each expressions of something larger, shaped by forces we can observe but not always fully grasp. Perhaps human design is a new kind of Jyotiṣa, one more attuned to the technological age we're living through. The archetypes of classical astrology, Jupiter's blessings, Saturn's trials, once held immense psychological and cultural weight. A person in Hellenistic Greece would have taken those divine influences seriously, but today, in a world increasingly disconnected from myth and symbol, those same archetypes don't land with the same gravity, especially in the Western mind. Human design, on the other hand, feels built for our current paradigm. The diagram itself looks like a circuit board, a human blueprint rendered in clean lines and logic gates. It speaks in terms of mechanics and energetics, perfectly suited to a digital, data-driven era. That said, it's not without its risks. There's a coldness to its language, a tendency to reduce the human being to a machine. So we have to remember to keep the human in human design. What's fascinating is how people are finding real-world value in human design and applying it beyond the theory. Whether that's integrating it into therapy, coaching, or even parenting, this growing trend of human design-informed practices demonstrates how individuals are using the system to create practical, meaningful shifts in how they engage with themselves and others in daily life. With access to so many free and powerful tools today, why not integrate both systems? It makes the most sense to me. Understand their strengths, recognize their blind spots, and let them complement each other, and evolving, intuitive and technical, mythic and modern. With that said, let's do a chart analysis using both a tropical Vedic astrological chart and a human design chart. So I have two charts here, and I'm going to do a very brief analysis of this person using the two different charts to see what information that we could complement and get from each other. Now, this is going to be a very short and quick segment because if I were to demonstrate all of the parallel information that you could get from this chart, I'd probably be talking for about 2 hours or 3 hours straight. There's just so much information you can grasp. So we have to limit it for practicality. Let's look at the ascendant in the astrological chart. We have a Leo ascendant with Pluto on the first house ascendant and Mars on the first house ascendant. This instantly tells us that this person is a powerhouse. Leo ascendant, the sign of the lion, the king, the leader, with the planet Pluto, which is to do with power, control, and almost dark side to power, death and transformation, psychological depth. Pluto is that the planet of the underworld. It has a kind of underworld mafia energy, and it's not too far away. Whilst it's not a conjunction, it's not too far away from Mars, the classical warrior, athlete, energetic fighter. So to have these two planets in a fire sign of Leo in the first house tells us that this person is a powerful leader. Pretty much couldn't get a more powerful combination for a powerful leader. Let's look at the human design to start off with. This person is a manifesting generator, so they have the sacral center defined, and the sacral center is connected via two channels to the throat center. So this person basically is an energetic powerhouse. They have the energy to get up early in the morning, keep working throughout the day, probably get by with less sleep needed than average, and get up recharged and ready to hit the day again and again and again. So this person, being a manifesting generator, is probably unaware that his energy levels are pretty much higher than average, especially when compared to a projector or a manifestor or a reflector type who doesn't have that sacral energy center defined. So this person has the sacral center defined, which is a classic source of energy. He's got that solar plexus defined, which is also considered a motor. He's got the ego center defined, which means that this person has a very strong and consistent self-identity and a sense of egoic power to him. The throat center is activated. This person can talk consistently and has a consistent tone of voice. He has a recognizable tone of voice. And the ajna center is defined, which means he has a consistent way of thinking, as opposed to being open to many different perspectives and ideas and different philosophies and sort of blending them into an airy, different philosophy. This guy's thinking is pretty much the same through his life, consistent. It's not influenced by others. So the way he expresses ideas, the way he carries himself is going to be consistent throughout his life. Lots of different positions held. There's going to be lots of experiments here, or lots of maybe different career positions, especially with this completely undefined G center. See, the G center doesn't have a single gate coming out of it. And this is really interesting because this person doesn't really fully know what he wants to be when he grows up. And combine that with the experimental profile, the 1-3, this person is more than likely to be conditioned by other people to go in different directions. This person is going to hold many different directions and careers and job titles through his life. Is there anything that speaks to that in the astrological chart? Well, let's have a look. Look at the 11th house, Gemini, where his sun is. So the sun is in Gemini. So this is a communicator. It's a fast thinker. He definitely has a lot of powerful connections in the 11th house of connections. But notice that the sun is essentially conjunct Rahu, this obsessive, alien, greedy kind of planet, which the desires of Rahu are never really satisfied. So when the sun is conjuncting Rahu, this person is obsessed with getting what he wants, obsessed with getting his gains, and he's really not going to be satisfied in life. This is considered a malefic planet in Vedic astrology because whilst it can produce a lot of motivation and drive and obsession, which could be seen as a virtue in our Western society, definitely in the traditional societies, this person is never going to be satisfied. So it's not very good for spiritual fulfillment. Again, look how Uranus is conjunct the chart, which gives this guy a very eccentric, standout kind of theme. Uranus is rebellion, it's eccentric, it's innovative, it's electrical, it's fast-paced, it's quirky. So the sun with Rahu and Uranus, this guy is going to have very unique, obsessive communication style to him. He's going to have odd sources of income, different sources of income. He's never going to be satisfied with his gains, although he may make strong amount of gains because Rahu's in the house of gains. So he's never going to be satisfied with his current gains. He's always going to go for more career gains, more assets, more money. Let's have a look. Interesting, Jupiter, that expansive and positive planet in the 3rd house, this house of trade, of going from A to B, of local networks, of getting things from A to B, of deals, of contracts, in Libra to do with contracts, the marketplace activity, also to do with fine arts because it's ruled by Venus, which is arts. So this guy he likes making deals. Let's look at the human design chart. We can see that the not self theme of this chart, essentially the theme that will play out when this person is not really acting with their true self or is making decisions when it's being conditioned by other people, is frustration. He will be frustrated when he's not moving through life smoothly, to be very frustrated. It's a single definition here, so he's actually pretty happy on his own. That means that the defined centers are all connected. There's no split between the defined centers. We go from the sacral center that's defined by a channel into the solar plexus center, which is then connected through to the throat center. So this is a single definition. This person doesn't really need to be around other people too often to feel a sense of wholeness with himself. Probably is quite an individualistic person, doesn't always need to be around people. He can be around people, he can be on his own. He's going to operate the same. He's not going to have a real thirst and desire to be around different people, but he can definitely work with them. And let's look at the channels. That gate 21, the gate of biting through. Where is that on the design side? So on the design side, there's Mercury, the planet Mercury in the gate of biting through, a communicative archetype of Mercury going into this CEO resource management gate. And actually the whole channel is activated because we have that gate 45 on the personality side defined by Uranus. So we have Uranus and Mercury activating the gate positions, which create this channel of money. So this is getting the resource, the hunter, and gate 45, the gatherer, hunting and gathering. This guy knows what to do with resources. He knows how to make money. He's probably a CEO. Definitely we have this money channel complementing the Mars-Pluto ascendant. So this guy knows how to manage resources. He's probably a CEO or a business leader of some sort. Let's take a look at that channel, the gate 17 connecting with gate 62. The channel of acceptance, a design of an organizational being. So the channel of acceptance links the ajna center to the throat center through the gate of opinions, gate 17, opinionated, and the gate of details, gate 62. So this person is opinionated. It is a design of organizational being. So it's opinionated. He gets those consistent ideas. He expresses them consistently and has good organizational capabilities. So this kind of fits with the mental aspect. The moon there being in the 5th house in Sagittarius. That's the mind is on the pleasures, the fun, the game, the gains, the gambling to some extent. 5th house is associated with speculative gains, so markets as well. Moon is kind of on that. It's in Sagittarius, this fiery sign. So it's a creative mind that's trying to figure out how to generate more resources. So I think this is a business leader, but he's also highly eccentric, has eccentric communication style, and it's a bit of a powerhouse. Could be, especially with Pluto and Mars on the ascendant, could be a bit too much of a powerhouse for some people. And I'm pretty sure you can already guess who this is. So that 59.6 is the channel of mating, a design focused on reproduction. So this is the gate of sexuality and dispersion, with the other gate, the 59. So the channel of mating links the sacral center to the solar plexus center through the gate of sexuality, that's 59, and the gate of friction, gate 6. Channel 59 to 6, the core of humanity's creative essence is rooted in a powerful quantum of sacral and emotional energy called intimacy. The sexuality of gate 59 and the pleasure, pain, emotional wave of gate 6 brings people into relationships that are deeply personal, penetrating, and potentially fertile. So this is a powerful sexuality, essentially. This is constant in this person. There's a sexual drive to this person. It's not always obviously presented and expressed sexually, but there is that underlying libido, which is driving this guy to power. I mean, this matches a lot with the Pluto on the ascendant. Pluto is very deep, powerful, hungry, underworld, dark kind of power. Mars is that fighter, warrior. And where's this guy's Venus? This guy's Venus is in the 12th house, so it doesn't really do well there. That's the planet associated with the love and the intimacy and the romance kind of tucked away, and it's conjunct Saturn as well. So there's a bit of an odd line of development with this guy's sexuality. Again, with the moon on the 5th house, which is also associated with the sexual pleasure, and with it conjunct Ketu, which is a bit of a weird release. This person will have that constant sexual drive and a libido, and will have children. His mind will be on his children, or he'll be disconnected from his children. Ketu being disconnection there, actually conjunct the moon in the 5th house. Maybe there's a bit of a weird distance between children. Maybe there's children that we don't know about, or hidden children. And that midheaven being in Taurus, notice how the money house is the 2nd house of money and income being in an earth sign. The 6th house, Capricorn, this guy's daily routines are strong. And the 10th house, Taurus, an earth sign, is highly materialistic. And he has the design of the materialist, right? Let's have a look at that 1-3 profile. So that 1-3 profile is known as the investigator martyr. The behavioral identity is modesty. The attitude is authoritarian. The limited perspective is empathy. Is aspiring to be a creative. The first line represents the conscious personality, the mind and how we think. The third line represents the unconscious design, the body and our physical experience in the mundane world. We are a species that is driven by fear for our survival, to investigate until we understand or find security through a solid foundation. This is not always possible in the ever-changing world that we live in, but the search for this security drives and mutates our species forward. Mutation is the continual process of finding out what does not work so that we can survive. The 1-3 sets the theme for the ongoing human journey of bumping into, investigating what we bump into, and resolving and understanding the unknown. The investigator martyrs, very insecure when not standing on a solid foundation, are driven to seek authorities that can provide them with secure grounding for their trial and error process. Their self-absorbed investigator personalities are very creative and are healthiest and most productive when well-prepared and well-educated. They enjoy their long hours of introspection and find strength in eventually establishing themselves as an authority so that their personal destiny remains in their own hands. Their martyr vehicles or bodies are designed to discover how to navigate the material plane by bumping into things or being bumped into, literally and figuratively. Adaptable and resilient, they are able to pick themselves up and announce to the world the truth of what does not work. You're consciously focused on finding inner strength by establishing a secure foundation, while your unconscious design naturally bumps into things that continually surprise you and others with accidental discoveries. You have a deeply internal destiny and can be like a chameleon, not wanting to draw too much attention to yourself until you feel secure as an authority. Gray areas can make you feel weak and uncomfortable and drive you to seek answers. An open and willing student, you are on a path to develop strength through mastery. You're here to be in charge of your own life, as well as a voice and a person of authority in your field of expertise. You cannot be lied to, and even as a child, you quickly find out who was telling you the truth and what you could trust. If you can surrender, your strategy and authority will guide you correctly through life, as your first-line personality augments the trial and error process with further investigation. It's also important that you have control over your environment, as you have to be free to process organically from one discovery to the next. You are empowered when encouraged to investigate or speak the truth about what does not work. So look on the personality side how the North Node, or Rahu, is exalted in that gate 45, line 5. And that's the gate of the gatherer, gathering together, the gate of dominance. It's the gate of the master mistress or king queen. It's the single voice of the tribe, the I have, and a deeply possessive gate of manifestation and action. The gate of the gatherer is here to protect the tribe's material resources. You're a natural authority and guide for the tribe. However, you're not really here to work. When what you have is used on behalf of those who you protect, there is peace in your kingdom. You have an ability to gather people around to manifest. You have an ability to gather people together to manifest what the tribe needs, to expand your community and to bring harmony to those around you. Although the actual management of the tribe's business is handled by Gate 21. You own the land, but you must give Gate 21 the permission to hunt on it, while still demanding that you receive the best piece of meat in the bargain. When you attempt to tell Gate 21 how to run your kingdom, or when Gate 21 tries to get the best piece of meat for itself, there is tension. So this is an obsessive materialist leader. This person is good with money and leads with money. All about that moon in Gate 26. The moon, which is associated with the mind and thinking, but also the nurturing and the body, or the ahankara in the Vedic system, the taming power of the great, the gate of the egoist. That's in the moon, Gate 26. And it's in line 5. Line 5 is adaptability. So remember the description for Gate 26, the gate of the egoist, is the maximization of the power of memory applied to the nurturing of continuity. This person is an adaptable egoist. That line 5 is still seen as the leader. That's a leadership line. So an kind of egoic leader as well. Moon K2 conjunction. So moon is in 26, but also K2 is in 26, line 5 as well. So he's kind of got that activated twice, this gate of the egoist. So this guy is not just a confident egoic leader. He's a double confident egoic leader to the point of a sense of alienating other people, because the K2 is release and alien-like and spiritual. So that's very interesting. The second house of money, the 6th house of the daily routine and the job, and the 10th house of career, all of their rulers, Mercury, Saturn, and Venus, are all in the 12th house. So there is a kind of sense of losses. This guy's good at making business deals behind the curtains, but there's also a lot of business losses. This guy has a lot of loss of money in his life. Huge losses, actually, but still successful. Still makes deals, so gains and losses are a part of the thing. You know, Jupiter in the 3rd in Libra, that's a very deal maker sign. I'm going to give you a spoiler here, the art of the deal. I mean, Venus rules arts. Jupiter is the positive, expansive planet. Venus is, Libra is the scales. It's the deal in the marketplace. And in the 3rd house, it's contracts, getting things from A to B, organizing resources. So that really is classic, very literal art of the deal stuff going on here. Fascinating that all of the 2nd and 6th and 10th house rulers are in the 12th house. So shady business deals or a lot of loss. And this guy's personality is obsessive and eccentric. He stands out. The ruler of the 7th house of relationships, being Aquarius. This guy has kind of odd approach to relationships. The ruler is also in the 12th house. There's maybe loss of relationships, or this guy is not quite good at emotionally connecting with his relationships. But the moon being in the 5th house to do with children, and he has that channel of mating. There's going to be a lot of children, maybe doesn't relate to them or gets on emotionally with them. The 4th house of home, Scorpio, ruler of the 4th house is in the 1st. So the 4th house to do with the home, the family, the tribe, the nation, the ancestry in the 1st house. This guy is like, there could be a sense of your family being a key part of your identity, or the family lineage being a key part of your identity. And it's kind of a warrior lineage, a warrior family. This family is going to be well known for their aggression and their fighting and their power. But look at the undefined root center as well. This person actually feels more pressure than we think he feels. The undefined root means that when this person is going through his daily life and someone's saying, sir, we need this done, we need this done, we need this done, he's actually feeling a lot more pressure to get those things done, and he'll rush through things to take that pressure off. He's not consistently grounded. It's actually a bit more nervous energy than you anticipate. And this person is emotionally defined. So their authority is the emotional center, which means that they can never have a consistent sense of clarity. Because this emotional wave goes up and down, this person can be slightly happier and higher one day and can crash down low and angry the next day. So it's a sine wave-like pattern. As a result, decisions that are made on the up and down wave can be inconsistent. The advice for this person would be to allow at least a few days for each consistent decision. Otherwise, this person is going to flop, especially if this person is in a position of power, which it seems like he is because of this Pluto and Mars in the 1st house. This person needs to make sure that their decisions that they're making are timed and considered over time, especially with that undefined root center, which would make him feel more pressure to make decisions very quickly. So let's also take a look at the Dasamsa chart of Donald Trump, which is the D10 chart in Vedic astrology. This is a granular calculation to look at the success, the career, the public standing. If the 10th house is the natural house to look at for career, success, how people view this person, the D10 is dialing into that. It's a subdivision to look at it even further. So what do we see in this D10 chart? Let's have a look. First, Mercury in Taurus in the 1st house. Money, trade. Mercury is trade. Taurus is money. So there's money immediately. It's Venus. It's Venus ruled, so there's good stuff. It's stable. It's an earth sign. First Lord Venus. Where is it? Venus is in Scorpio. So it's, Venus is deep money. And then the Venus is almost conjunct Pluto if you are of the discipline which would use Pluto in a divisional chart. Pluto is also conjunct, is at the part of fortune as well. So there's deep money that comes in here. 10th and 9th Lord, Saturn. Saturn is exalted in the 6th. So an exalted 10th and 9th Lord, which is super powerful. Sun in the 9th, Capricorn, strong. The 10th and 9th Lord being exalted in the 6th. The 11th Lord, Jupiter, exalted in its own sign. So the house of the 11th sign, the 11th house of career gains, of money, of assets, of networks and people that you know. The ruler of Pisces is Jupiter, so Jupiter is sitting in its own sign. So 11th house Lord exalted. 12th house Lord, Mars, exalted in its own sign. This is powerful, 2nd house Lord, Mercury in the 1st, so the money. Again, the sign to do with money and family to some extent is in the 1st house. So there's money on conjunct the ascendant of the D10 chart. So maybe this person is successful due to the amount of money that they have to start with. The 3rd Lord, Cancer, is exalted. Moon in Cancer, its own sign. 4th house, where's the sun? 4th house Lord is in the 9th house, Capricorn. 5th house, Virgo, is in the 1st house, Lord of the 5th and the 1st. So there's quite a lot of exalted planets here. And so it indicates a very powerful career. Very powerful, yeah. 10th and 9th lords exalted in the 6th, 11th lord exalted in the 11th, 12th lord exalted in the 12th, 3rd lord exalted in the 3rd. Like, this is almost, I think, if you had a theoretical chart of like an avatar or a saint, some of the Vedic astrologers would say, well, it would just be exalted planets in every single sign. And what do we have here? We have like 10th and 9th lord is exalted in the 6th, 11th lord exalted in its own sign, 12th lord exalted in its own sign, 3rd lord exalted in its own sign. It's just like 4. It's very, very, very powerful. And then the North Node in the 8th house, this obsession for 8th house is also it's not just taboo and occult, but it's investment opportunities and deep money. That can be interpreted that way. So this is giving us the indicator that in the career space, this person has a highly powerful career. Many exalted planets, super powerful career. Contrast that with the 10th lord being in the 12th house. You'd think that a 10th lord in the 12th house would be like a hidden away career. But if we dial into the D10 Dasamsa chart, it's actually giving us the indicator of a very powerful public career. But that's just a quick interpretive example. And obviously the potential information that we could extract from these charts could be infinite.